I'm Julie Zenner along with Dennis Anderson, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
Dedicated to developing local startup companies, the leader of the Entrepreneur Fund is moving on after 23 years. We will talk with the incoming and outgoing leaders of the organization about past successes and future prospects.
With spring weather finally here, we'll be dodging orange barrels on local highways before you know it. A primer on MNDOT summer construction projects is coming up.
And we will have the week's business news and see which ship was first to the Twin Ports 25 years ago.
It's all coming up next on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thanks for watching. Denny, the snowbanks have finally started receding around here.
I can see, I finally see my deck. It's not just a bunch of railings sticking up through the snowbanks now, so
yeah, I think
it feels good.
Any more snow is going to have to take care of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Spring is a time of transition, and that's the case with our first topic. So why don't you take it away?
All right. Thank you very much, Julie. Well, back in 1989, the Northeast Entrepreneur Fund was started with the idea of helping laid-off miners start a business and create their own jobs. Now, nearly 24 years later, the fund helps a wide range of entrepreneurs in this region build healthy, locally owned companies. Mary Mathews was the founding president and CEO of the fund, and today is her last official day on the job. Shawn Wellnitz is taking over as the leader of the fund on April 1st. Markus Muller is co-owner of Tryon Media, a company receiving assistance from the fund, and Lara Signorelli is co-owner of Tryon Media with Markus. Thank you all for being here. And obviously this, Mary, is a big day for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a very big day.
Retirement. After all these 23 years leading up this organization, many fond memories, some failures, but probably a lot of successes.
Oh, it's been quite an amazing journey. Watching entrepreneurs grow and change and build their businesses has been really exciting.
Shawn, you're taking over the helm. For people who are not familiar with the Entrepreneur Fund, give me the elevator speech, in terms of what it is that you do when you're working with businesses.
Yeah, we help entrepreneurs access new opportunities, whether you're startups or an entrepreneur that's looking to grow. We found that in this region, we've got a tremendous wealth of talent and people with opportunities, and so the Entrepreneur Fund, really since '89, has always been the go-to place to start. So.
Markus and Lara, you've got a startup business through the fund. How does one apply for startup monies?
First of all, searching to come in touch with the Entrepreneur Fund. It was a phone call to tell about our idea. The answer was, that sounds interesting, let's meet. And then the doors were opened and we could lay out our plan and what we thought would be a great idea here in Duluth.
Lara, what is that great idea? What does your business do?
Tryon Media, our main label, our main brand is Runway Manhattan. We sell fashion photo imagery, and right now, well, how could you describe that? We're an export business right now. We're selling primarily to Germany, to magazines, websites, newspapers, and we're looking to expand that nationally and also in other countries in Europe.
Mary, is our region a better place today for startup businesses like this than it was back in the late 1980s when you started the Entrepreneur Fund, then the Northeast Entrepreneur Fund?
It is better. People are more aware. When we started, Denny talked about helping dislocated miners think about turning a hobby into a business. We would work with people who had never known another business owner or never really talked to an owner. And today, because of the work we do and others and the general environment, there's much greater awareness for the importance of small business than there
Mary
was.
and Shawn, what are you looking for in people when they make a phone call to your organization, perhaps looking for startup money? What are you looking for in these people?
The first thing we look for is an opportunity, you know, to frame out, and most people start with that. You know, they've got an opportunity that they want to go after.
They come with an idea.
Yeah, an idea, you know, a place in the market they can fit. They know there's something there, and usually it takes a little bit of talking through, bringing different people in, and of course money towards the end
Sure,
as well
yeah.
too. But it starts
So
with
is
that.
there a board that works with you that then reviews what they might be trying to pitch to you?
Right, we have a board, and we we have staff that work with individuals and help them think through their idea, whether it's a startup or whether they're an existing business that's looking to grow. And our capacity to help a variety of business owners has expanded as we've gotten older and more experienced.
Markus, one of the things that our region has struggled with over the years is a perception that it's not very business friendly. As a business owner, do you find that, or do you find that there's a real interest and support for entrepreneurs such as yourself?
I think it is business friendly. Maybe the region has to learn that there is so much talent that can contribute to other businesses, that this area can grow. Shawn just mentioned opportunity and talent. There are many opportunities, and actually if you look around, there is a lot of talent. Runway Manhattan, Tryon Media has hired local talent to work with us in our company. So it is business friendly, and we all have to open our eyes and look at the opportunities that new technology and also the new times actually provide for us.
Sure. Lara, can you walk us through the process a little bit when you first called the Entrepreneur Fund and walked with them for a while?
Well, Markus was the one who called them and really initiated contact in terms of the business aspect of finding us funding.
So what was that process? Can you explain a little bit what it was like?
Well, the main challenge for companies that are startups is funding. You can fund yourself for a certain amount of time depending on how much you have in terms of savings or how much money you have made in previous jobs. But at some point you need to make a decision to grow the company, and then you need to turn to people who have experience in that. Obviously the Entrepreneur Fund was the address for us to turn to and to talk about what opportunities would they be able to provide for us in terms of funding. And they were very interested in looking at our long-term plans, especially being able to hire local what would you call that? I'm sorry, I'm lacking the word. People in the community that would work for us instead of working in New York or in Los Angeles. Our business is usually one that you would say you would find it on the East Coast or the West Coast, but Duluth, Minnesota, seriously? Well, really, we can do it here, and we're proving that it works, and our stories are published in these cities, and that's the kind of encouragement that the Entrepreneur Fund gives to companies like us. We have an idea, we have the opportunity, and I provide the funding so we can find the talent locally.
And talk about what you provide beyond funding, because the name itself really makes it sound like it's a fund and that's about it. But you have business coaching, and you have business training, and some very, very good programs. The Greenstone Group, the Core 4 program. Mary, speak to that.
Well, from the beginning, we've really focused on the needs of the entrepreneur and what they need to really grow. So a variety of programs. 2 weeks ago, we had Women's Strategy Weekend up at Larchmont with 11 women entrepreneurs for a weekend, helping them grow their companies. Our Be Strategic, Grow Your Business series happened all across the region. I think we did 9 of those last year in Aiken and International Falls and Two Harbors and Cloquet. Growing Neighborhood Businesses is with the City of Duluth, and the Duluth at Work program is in the Duluth neighborhood. So it's all a focus on, one of the decisions that we made in the 90s was that capital without support and encouragement was not as helpful as that we could maximize the effort if we combined both. And so we look for opportunities to help grow entrepreneur skills and then match that with capital, because that's where we see the most success.
Shawn, starting Monday, you are the new CEO of the Entrepreneur Fund. What do you bring to the organization? What's your background?
Yeah, my background is also, I've started as owning a small business myself, and I'm actually not from the region. I owned a business outside of here, and I picked, much like Markus and Lara, I picked Duluth as a place to come and to stake my claim. And so, coming here and looking at entrepreneurs and opportunities, I started in 2004 in Superior, where we were working to help small businesses start, grow there too, and my experience over the last 10 years has really been about helping those entrepreneurs evolve long term. And we're really excited to see someone who starts maybe 10 years ago and what they evolved to today. So for me personally, it's bringing sort of my own background as an entrepreneur as well as the experience helping others.
What's one of the big problems with the new company? Is it underfunding?
Underfunding is a big part, yeah. It's coming in and how much capital do you need? The second piece of that is finding the talent that they need to grow their business. And it's making those connections here too in Duluth. There's a lot of really good professional services all across the region, professional services entrepreneurs, and it's helping connect right people at the right time.
Do you see any long or short-term changes for the organization? You've been with the Entrepreneur Fund for a long time, so you know how things work. Is the formula going to continue pretty much the way it is?
It had. Mary's built a good model. I mean, it's about bringing together capital, and the support and expertise to help those entrepreneurs grow. And so she's given us a really good platform for, we've helped 1,300 companies since 1989. There's about roughly over 10,000 businesses in this region. So we've helped that many, that we have a long history with those entrepreneurs, and we know the formula works. For us, it's to provide more capital, more flexible, innovative capital, and then again bring other entrepreneurs together to show others too that entrepreneurs in this region, you can make it on that track.
Is that important to you as business owners, entrepreneurs, that opportunity to network with, get to know what other business owners in the region are facing?
I would absolutely say yes. It's very important, because as a business owner, you think that you're not going to make any mistakes. You will make mistakes, and it's good to learn from these mistakes, but it's good to avoid mistakes that are very costly. And entrepreneurs that network, social media today, the many networking opportunities that we have in Duluth, thanks to the Entrepreneur Fund and other opportunities that we have, makes it much easier for people like us to be successful.
Mary, are there a couple of milestones that really stick out in the 23+ years you've headed the organization?
Well, I think one was the decision to partner capital and technical assistance and be the best we could be at both. That happened in the 90s. A big highlight was when we went to the White House in 1999 and received an award from President Clinton, Presidential Microenterprise Award for Entrepreneurial Skill Development. Another one was launching the Greenstone Group and really changing the focus, or expanding our focus to work with high growth potential companies like Tryon Media.
Okay, we're out of time. I'm sorry about that. We could talk about this for a long time yet. But Mary, all the best to you in retirement.
Thank you.
Thank all of you for being here tonight. You shed a lot of light on an important organization.
Thank you.
Now, let's dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
The first ship of the year crossed the threshold of the Twin Ports today. This morning, the Coast Guard's Mackinac icebreaker came into the harbor to clear the way for the start of the 1988 shipping season.
Mackinac's coming up just basically to break out the harbor, break out the shipyard so they can start moving ships around, and also the in-can Superior is supposed to start running possibly this weekend.
The 43-year-old icebreaker is the only one of its kind on the Great Lakes, but it's an expensive vessel to operate, and Coast Guard officials say the Mackinac may be put out of commission after this spring because of federal budget cuts.
Mackinac is kind of a legend on the Great Lakes, and yeah, I'm from here, and yes, it is sad.
Officials of the shipping industry say they're taking the Mackinac issue very seriously. If the 295-foot ship is being tied up for good, reliable shipping throughout the Great Lakes could be thrown off course.
A final decision on what the future of the Mackinac will be hasn't been made yet, but officials in the shipping industry say they're going to do everything in their power to keep this vessel in operation. According to them, this 295-foot icebreaker is important to Great Lakes shipping. Katie O'Keefe, KDLH News.
Northeastern Minnesota state highways will be getting a $120 million makeover this construction season. That's according to figures released this week by the Department of Transportation. Projects on the High Bridge, Interstate 35 between Proctor and Esco, Highway 1 near Ely, and Highway 53 south of Cook are just some of the roads being updated. Joining us now with more is Duane Hill, MnDOT's district engineer in the Arrowhead region. And welcome back. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Duane, I understand this is one of the biggest lists of projects ever in our region.
This is near the largest dollar value of construction program we've ever had for northeastern Minnesota.
And why is that? I mean, we hear so often about the budget issues at the state and the federal level. How'd you get this pocket of money?
Well, the funding comes from many sources, but some of it is related to a bill that was passed in 2008 called the Chapter 152 bill, which provided funding for bridges after the bridge collapse. And then one of our largest projects is a earmark from the previous federal transportation bill, which was a high priority project, the Highway 53 project, expanding the 4 lanes north to Cook.
Between Virginia and Cook.
Yes.
So once this stretch of highway, what is it, 7 miles?
Yep.
Once that's completed, it's 4 lane then all the way from Virginia to Cook.
Exactly.
I have a 2-part question. Are all monies in place? Is all funding now there? And how much left to be done on the Blotnick Bridge?
The funding is in place for the Blotnick Bridge to finish our rehab that we started last year. So last year we did some structural repairs and we painted about half of the bridge, and we're going to finish the painting this summer. And
so all those dollars are committed?
All of those dollars are committed. And then the other good news about the Blotnick Bridge is the lights have been off. And this summer we're going to be installing a new outline lighting system. Landmark lighting system is the term that I want to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the other main projects that folks may run into this summer that could be an inconvenience or cause delays?
I think in this region, the one that's going to have the biggest impact on traffic is the one on I-35 from the Buffalo House to Boundary Avenue.
Sure.
And that's about $15 million worth of work that we have to do, 5 miles of new concrete pavement in both directions. So for part of the summer, traffic will be pushed one way, so it'll be on 2 lanes of traffic. And the other part of the summer, it'll be pushed in the other 2 lanes.
Duane, is that about the same amount of highway construction that took place last summer in that area?
In that, yeah, exactly. Last year we did half of the project,
Okay,
and this
up
summer
to
we're doing the other
Yeah.
half. Exactly. Yes.
So the big I-35 work rate in Duluth, though, is pretty much done.
The work in the work in town is done, and then also we completed all the projects that were south of Duluth on I-35. So there won't be the inconvenience this summer as there was the last 2 years with all of the overlays south of Duluth.
But London Road could be an issue?
There's a city project on London Road, as well as a MnDOT project, and the bigger impact is going to be the city project. They're going to be putting an underpass under London Road by the Lester River for pedestrians, and that's going to detour traffic up to Superior Street. And then MnDOT also has a smaller project that's going to repair some of the damaged storm sewers from the flood last year.
Well, driving, Duane, in Aiken County, I noticed Aiken County has, I think there are a few roads that have centerline rumble strips. Is that going to be a statewide thing someday?
Yes, it is. It's a standard that we've developed in the last year. And on our 2-lane roads, we've found that it results in reducing the number of serious and fatal crashes that occur where people cross the center line. So
is that rougher on roads? They have to be replaced a little more often?
We're a little concerned about the impact of that on the centerline joint of the pavement. but the benefits far exceed whatever
Yeah.
whatever impact that has.
Is Aiken County more or less an experimental area? Because I haven't seen them other than Aiken County.
As you drive around our system, all the pavements that we put in last fall had centerline
They do.
rumble strips, and in fact we have a district-wide project this year to install on several corridors, including Highway 61, Highway 53, and Highway 210. So we'll be doing this
Sure.
Broadly across our whole district. It's what we call a low-cost safety improvement.
Speaking of the whole district, we do have a map that kind of shows all of the spots where there will be projects this year, and it looks like there could be delays all over the place, but some of these aren't maybe as much as others?
Most of the work that we do can be done under traffic. So there might be minor inconveniences as you're driving through right in the area where they're working, but usually the work is scheduled so we can wiggle the traffic by the construction activity with minor delays. The major delays are like the I-35 kind of work where we have to move traffic out of a lane and reduce the number of lanes.
Duane, can you give us an update to our viewers as to what still needs to be done around Jay Cook?
At Jay Cook, we were able to open the road up to the park headquarters last year. And the next priority for DNR was to get access to Oldenburg Point, which is the picnic area that everybody likes to have graduations and weddings and everything at. And it was really important to DNR to have direct access from their park headquarters to Oldenburg Point. So we worked really hard over the last year to do all the environmental work necessary and put together a set of plans so we could build a bridge across the washout that occurred when Four Bay Reservoir failed. So this summer we've got about a $3.5 million or so project that's going to install a bridge that's 360 feet long and then regrade about a half a mile of the road and make it a little bit more stable than it was, move it away from the steep slope that goes towards the river. And by the end of the summer, it'll be good access to Oldenburg.
When all is completed, Duane, will the entire driveway, the highway be completed then and reopened as it used to be?
We still have to have a discussion about the rest of Highway 210.
I see, okay.
So Jay Cook Road intersects Highway 210 in about the middle of Jay Cook State Park. And from that road on to Highway 23, there's just a significant amount of damage.
That may never reopen?
We repaired the driveways for Minnesota Power so they could get
Sure.
to their Four Bay Power Station and Fond du Lac Dam. But we're going to have a public discussion about what to do. The cost of rebuilding that road is significant, and the number of users is pretty low. And we think possibly we'd rebuild it, or the other option would be maybe a multi-use trail in the same corridor. So we want to find out what the public thinks. And what are the economic impacts if it did become a multi-use trail?
Is there other flood-related damage that you're still dealing with besides that, just that area?
We're also doing some storm sewer repair in the Fond du Lac neighborhood this year. And then there's a bigger discussion that's going on about what do you do with Mission Creek that flows into the St. Louis River in the Fond du Lac neighborhood. And in a couple of years, we're hoping to be able to replace the bridge at Mission Creek, or do something to help that neighborhood with the potential of that stream jumping out of its stream channel as it flows down towards the St. Louis River.
This is kind of a broad question. What is the overall condition of northern Minnesota highways?
Overall, the message I would say is our pavement condition is not as good as we'd like it to be. And the transportation funds that we have are really limited, and we're really going to struggle over the next 10 years trying to keep the pavement condition acceptable to the public. Our bridge conditions are better. Our bridge condition we've really paid attention to our bridges over the last 5 years, and our bridges are we feel comfortable with our bridges.
Very quickly, any advice to drivers as we head into this season?
Our construction zones are designed to make for safe travel for the public that travels through them and for the workers that are working in the zones. But it's really important for people as they approach those zones to slow down, drive the speed limit, pay attention. Distracted drivers are what causes a lot of the accidents in work zones, and typically the lanes are a little narrower than you would normally have, and it's really important for the public to pay attention as they drive through
All
those
right,
work zones.
Duane Hill, Thank you very much. Good luck with MNDOT season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Duane. Let's take a look now at the week's top business stories from Business North. Telemark Resort and Cable closed its doors Monday, and employees were told the company doesn't have money to reopen. General Manager Robin Buckles maintains the facility was shuttered for a thorough cleaning and will reopen in May. But Telemark faces financial challenges. It is being sued for delinquent unemployment compensation, delinquent employee taxes, and faces court judgments to unpaid vendors. Those liabilities alone add up to $110,000. Buckles said a sale of the resort is pending, but acknowledged the potential purchase group has not yet secured financing.
CN Railway hopes to expand its limestone and taconite storage facility on the St. Louis River to accommodate Minnesota's growing mining industry. CN proposes to fill 24 acres at its Lakehead terminal with 250,000 cubic yards of material. The work also would shore up its number 6 ore dock, built in 1918. The investment bodes well for the port, according to Adolph Ojard, executive director of the Duluth Seaway Port Authority. The proposal is subject to review by state, federal, and local regulatory bodies.
The reconstruction of Tower Avenue will open the doors to new development of Superior's once thriving downtown district, Mayor Bruce Hagan tells Business North in its April edition. 9 historic structures are located in the 1 mile area, providing an opportunity for developers to create a quaint historic district similar to those in Marquette and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Hagan said. The 6-month street project will begin in mid to late April. For more on these and other stories, visit businessnorth.com.
And if you have a comment on this week's show, now is the time to call. Dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message or send an email to almanacnorth@wdse.org. You also can visit the WDSE website for our program schedule, news and updates about WDSE, and more about your favorite PBS shows. And Denny, a very happy Easter to you and your family.
Well, thank you, Julie. Happy Easter to you and your family and to yours.
All right, for Denny and the crew here at Almanac North, I'm Julie Zenner.